Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to do a review of my most recent cruise on board the Serenade of the Seas. We did the Serenade of the Seas for a 5-night cruise to Key West and Perfect Day at Coco Cay back in July 2023. And in this video, I'm going to give a review of the beautiful Serenade of the Seas and our cruise experience. So for this review video, I'm going to score the ship in 5 different areas. I'm going to tell you my opinion and the score I think the ship receives, the quality of the ship, the design of the ship, the layout, the cleanliness, the taste of the food and the food quality, which I'm sure you know, but opinions on food may vary from person to person. So my opinion of the food that we ate might be really good to your really bad experience with food. So just keep that in mind. And I'm also going to score it on the entertainment that we had during our cruise, as well as the itinerary we had and the overall service we received from the crew members on board. All right, digging into this review, we're going to first talk about the ship. And let me tell you, I was hesitant. I'm just going to be completely honest. I was hesitant about sailing on an older Royal Caribbean ship that didn't have the bells and whistles. Coming from my past experience before this one was the Independence of the Seas. So this ship is kind of a big change experience-wise. So I was hesitant. I was a little nervous that there wasn't going to be anything going on and that I wasn't going to like the ship, but I absolutely love the Serenade of the Seas now. The layout is like perfect once you figure it out, and the ship is very detailed and it has that old ship charm. Lots of outdoor deck space where you can actually see the ocean, and tons of windows that view the ocean. They have the elevators that actually look out onto the ocean. This is quite an older ship. This ship was built in 2003, and it carries about 2,500 passengers. So it is a lot smaller compared to, for example, our neighbor that we had in Coco Cay, the beautiful Oasis of the Seas. Carries over 6,000 people and was built in 2009, but has been amplified. So very different ships. But I did love the Serenade of the Seas. I definitely recommend it to anybody that cruises on Royal Caribbean or just cruises in general. And I'm gonna go ahead in the ship portion talk about our cabin. We did have an interior cabin on this cruise. On deck 4, which is the first deck with actual stuff on it. That's where the bottom of the centrum is. That's where the first level of the main dining room is, and that's just where a few things begin to be. So you would walk out of our room, and if you took a right, it would dump you into the centrum, and if you took a left, it would take you to the forward elevators. So we were in a perfect location. We heard really no noise unless you went into the hallway. You could hear, like if they were playing music in the centrum, you could hear that. But really no noise when we were actually in our room. And it was 4 people in an interior room. We made it work. They had tons of storage. The room was a little outdated. It could use updating, but overall this ship could use a little bit of a touching up. But to be honest, if the ship is not brand new, it really does need a touching up every now and then. So the ship really surprised me. I was shocked that I actually liked it as much as I did, but I really enjoyed it. So for that reason, I'm going to give it a 5 out of 5. All right, moving on to the food, the taste of the food, and the food quality. So on the Serenade of the Seas, there is not a whole lot of free food options or included food options. You have the main dining room, you have Cafe Latitudes, and you have Park Cafe, and you have Windjammer. That's really it. They do have Chops, and they have Azumi, and they have Giovanni's. we did not eat either one of those because we don't really, I mean, we go on the cruise, and if there's free food, that's what we're going to eat. We don't necessarily have to have a specialty dining experience. We've never had one. I would love to have one, but I'm perfectly fine with eating every night in the main dining room and eating lunch at the buffet. It does not bother me. We did not eat. We never tried the like pastries or sandwiches at Park Cafe and Cafe Latitudes. We never tried that, but we did eat at Park Cafe late night pizza because really after the Windjammer closes at 9 and the main dining room closes, Park Cafe was the only thing open till 2, and they did have pizza until 2 o'clock. So we did have pizza at like midnight at some point, and the pizza there was really good. Royal Caribbean had really good pizza. There was not a actual pizza restaurant on the Serenade like there was on Independence. So do keep that in mind. They have a pizza bar in the Windjammer, and when Windjammer closes at night, they take the pizza to Park Cafe. So now the busiest times is when everything else is closed and Park Cafe is the only thing open. So do keep that in mind. If you want something late at night, Park Cafe is the only thing open unless you want to pay for room service. So if you want Park Cafe, something to eat at night, get there a little bit earlier, because closer to the time it closes, the busier it gets, it seems. But we did eat in the Windjammer. We ate the Windjammer breakfast days 1 through 4. We didn't even eat breakfast on day 4 at Coco Cay. So day 1 through 3, we ate Windjammer breakfast. Day 2 and 3, we ate Windjammer breakfast. One day I'll get this right. And day 5, we ate the main dining room for breakfast. The main dining room breakfast experience was probably the worst. The food was not that great, which shocked us because we ate breakfast in the dining room every morning on Independence, and it was amazing. The breakfast on Serenade in the main dining room was not that good. That was the worst. But Windjammer for breakfast was really good. They had the made-to-order omelets and pretty much the same stuff every day, but it was very good. We did eat lunch in the Windjammer. We ate it on Embarkation Day and the 2 sea days, and everything was good that we ate. It was very good and lots of different variety of options. And every night we did eat in the main dining room. We had my time dining for the first time as well, and everything we ate was exceptional. And I tried a lot of new stuff for me, such as lamb, escargot, calamari. I think that was really it. But I tried a lot of new stuff for me. I'm not a picky eater at all. So, which I'm sure if you've watched all the vlogs, you have seen, I'm not very picky. I have a variety of food options that I eat, but everything was very good. And I definitely give the food, now, it would be a 5 out of 5, except for the main dining room breakfast. With the main dining room breakfast, I'm going to have to give it a 4.5. All right, moving on to the entertainment. So, I was worried about this cruise that there wasn't going to be a whole lot going on during the sea days because it was an older ship. I do prefer the older, smaller ships opposed to the big ships, but I like the stuff going on the big ships. So, I was worried. We did have 2 sea days, but they had tons of stuff going on the 2 sea days, so it really balanced out. They had a sail-away party on day 4, so Coco Cay Day. They had a not a sail-away party, Dancing Under the Stars party at 10 o'clock, I think, maybe. And that lasted for 45 minutes. And then they had silent disco going on right after that, so we went to that. And on day 3, which was a sea day, they had the belly flop competition. And on day 5, they had World's Sexiest Man competition. And they obviously did a sail-away party, and that was pretty lively. We did go see some shows. We did not go see the Welcome Aboard show, just because we didn't feel like going to see it. But on day 2, they had something called, they had the show Stage to Screen, which is on Serenade and Enchantment of the Seas, and it's basically a sample of most Broadway shows. So you get a little sneak peek of a lot of Broadway shows. That show was just okay. I think if it's on the schedule again, we probably won't go see it, but if we do Serenade or Enchantment and it's on the daily planner, we might go see it. Who knows? And then on night 3, they had a guy on there called El Gacho. He did the lassos and he did tricks and stuff, and he was also a comedian, and he also played his guitar. He was really good. If he's on your schedule, definitely go see that. Don't miss that show because he was really funny and his actual show was really good. On night 4, this was an interesting night. We were supposed to see Vibeology, which is Serenade's main production show. That's the show that's special to the Serenade. We were going to the late show, and they had a technical issue and couldn't get it fixed. But on day 5 at like 2:30, they were able to squeeze in Vibeology, and we were actually able to see it. And let me tell you, that show was 10 out of 10. It was amazing. It was very good. And then on night 5, we saw the farewell show, which was 2 of the main singers switching back and forth, singing songs, and they were both really good. So overall, the entertainment on Serenade of the Seas, I'm going to have to give it a 4.5. All right, now time for the next segment of this review is the itinerary. We booked this cruise based on Itinerary. We had a couple other options on other cruise lines, but this one we picked simply for the Itinerary. We left out of Tampa, we went to Key West, and then we had a day at sea. Then we went to Perfect Day at Coco Cay, and then we had a sea day coming back on our return to Tampa. This was a 5-night cruise, so this was like a perfect cruise pretty much. We booked it mainly for Key West. This was our first time to Key West, and we rented a golf cart, which you saw in the vlog, and we drove around the whole island and hit up some tourist sites, and then we went back to the ship, and we had a day at sea, and then we went to Perfect Day at Coco Cay, which all of us really love. It's just the perfect free beach day if you want that. And they have really good food on the island. And everything's free. And your drink package carries over. So, really good. And then we had a day at sea on the way back. And then we were back in Tampa. So, we did really enjoy this 5-day cruise. And I would definitely recommend it if it's back on the schedule again, because I haven't seen it for the future. So if it does pop up and you're able to do it, do snag it, because it is a really good itinerary, because you get to go to Key West and then you get a full day at their private island. So for the itinerary, I would definitely give this a 5 out of 5. And for the last segment of this review is the crew and the service of the crew. So since this is a smaller ship, they only have about 855 crew members on board. The service you get from the crew members and the attention you get from the crew members is spot on. We ended up, so even though we had my time dining, we ended up eating at the same table 4 out of the 5 nights. One time they put us at a different table, but 4 out of 5 times when we didn't request it, we got put at the same table, and our waiters knew us by name, and they were really disappointed that we, didn't sit with them on the night that we got put at the other table. We were disappointed too, because we didn't have as great of service. I mean, we had good service, but the crew members weren't really talkative. They were just there for their job, which I get it. But it is nice when you get that extra touch of being called by your name each time they take your order, and when they bring you your food, and you get that extra treatment. But other than that, we had really good service everywhere else. I mean, so since this ship doesn't have the Coca-Cola freestyle machines like the other ships, with the soda package, you still get the cup, but you have to go to the bars, and it's just kind of weird. The bartenders look at you a little weird since you're underage, if you're my age, and you're not there to drink, you're there to get a soda, and they just kind of look at you weird, and then you have the adults looking at you weird, and it's a little awkward, but I'm just here to get a drink, and I'm in and out, so. But eventually they would take and fill your cup up, and then you'd be on your way. So, but everybody we encountered was very friendly and nice. Our room steward was very attentive. It was like we would leave to go to breakfast, and then we come right back, and the room would be clean, mainly because we sleep in most of the time. So he would be like right outside of our room when we would leave, and so when we come back, the room would be clean and ready. But other than that, everybody else was friendly. I don't know what else to say about the crew members besides they get 5 out of 5. So if you do the math, this cruise experience gets a 4.8. That is actually really good. I definitely recommend cruising on the Serenade of the Seas, and she is about to embark on her world cruise. I will be tracking her as she goes all the way around the world. The crew members, like the higher ups, seemed very excited for that. I wish I could be on a segment or the whole thing now that I know that I really love the Serenade of the Seas, but now at least I can say I have been on a ship that did a world cruise. So, but I definitely do recommend cruising on the Serenade of the Seas if you get the chance to. She's an amazing ship, and if she goes to Norway or Alaska again, definitely do her, because those windows and all those outdoor decks, they will pay off for scenic cruising. So if she does do some scenic cruising after her world cruise, definitely do it. But other than that, that is going to do it for this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. I have a really close upcoming, really fast approaching another adventure coming really soon that I'm excited about. So make sure you stay tuned, stay along for the ride, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.